In the 2024 Nosferatu remake, Count Orlok rocks a mustache that could rival any hipster's pride and joy, and it stirred up quite the conversation point among fans and critics alike. This isn't just facial hair, this is a stylistic choice loaded with cultural and historical significance, a choice that has transformed the familiar image of one of cinema's most notorious vampires. When the alleged production art showcasing Orlok's design first leaked, showing Orlok adorned with a white and grizzled mustache, my initial reaction was one of disbelief. Could a mustache really belong on the face of a creature known for its haunting, nearly bald appearance? It seemed almost sacrilegious to alter the iconic image of Orlok so drastically. However, upon watching the film in its entirety, my skepticism was soon replaced by admiration. The mustache really didn't detract from Orlok's terror. It amplified it even, adding a layer of depth and historical authenticity that I hadn't anticipated. And I think going with a thick, dark mustache, as opposed to the thinning and white version seen on the production art, was a good choice. Director Robert Eggers, renowned for his dedication to detail and historical accuracy, embraced the challenge of redefining Orlok with gusto. Eggers' approach was rooted deeply in vampire folklore and the real-world history of Transylvania. He delved deep into descriptions and beliefs about vampires from the times when people truly feared the undead lurking in the shadows. Eggers explained his rationale, saying, and I quote, "The vampire of folklore is a putrid, walking, undead corpse, and so the question then became, what does a dead Transylvanian nobleman look like?" End quote. His answer was clear. Such a figure would inevitably sport a mustache, reflecting the grooming habits of the region's aristocracy. The mustache serves as a bridge between the old-world vampire and the audience's expectations of what a historical figure of terror might realistically look like. Eggers adds, and I quote, "It's part of the culture. Try to find a Transylvanian person who's of age who can grow a mustache that doesn't have a mustache." End quote. In his view, omitting the mustache would have been an oversight, neglecting the cultural authenticity he strives for in his films. The inclusion of the mustache does more than just root Orlok in a specific time and place, it humanizes him in a way that is profoundly unsettling. The mustache makes Orlok more relatable, more believable, and paradoxically, more terrifying. It blurs the lines between the undead monster and the once living man, reminding us of his origins and making his monstrous nature even more jarring. And yet, not everybody appreciated this aesthetic choice. For some, the mustache was a distraction, an unnecessary addition that seemed to soften the character's sinister edge. Critics argued that it made the vampire too earthly, too tied to human idiosyncrasies, and thus less a symbol of pure evil and more of a caricature of a bygone era. However, beyond the debates and initial shock, the mustache has sparked a broader discussion about how we envision mythological and legendary creatures. Should they evolve with our changing understanding of history and culture, or should they remain fixed as the untouchable icons of our nightmares? Eggers' Orlok, mustache and all, challenges us to reconsider our expectations and engage with folklore in a way that respects its origins while still thrilling modern audiences. In the end, the mustache has grown on me as an essential part of this new Orlok's look. It adds a layer of realism and depth to the character whose look has, up until now, remained basically the same throughout the many renditions of Nosferatu over the years. By anchoring Orlok in the reality of his historical context, Eggers has not only redefined an icon, but also reinvigorated the lore surrounding vampires, and after being certain that I would absolutely despise a mustached Orlok, I ended up loving the design. And let me just say this, while I do love the look of the mustached Orlok in this film, I will always prefer my Count Orlok to be nearly hairless, with no mustache, with super long pointy ears, and of course, the much needed rodent fangs. Although Orlok had sharp teeth in this film, which is fine, I really did still miss the large, elongated rodent fangs we were so used to. I think that would have really completed the look with or without the mustache. And I realize a lot of people like the mustache because it's so closely tied to Vlad the Impaler, which is what Dracula is based off of, which is what Count Orlok's based off of, because Nosferatu and Orlok are technically ripoffs of Dracula. But to me, Orlok is not supposed to look like Dracula necessarily, because he is indeed a ripoff. And the original 1922 version did not look like Dracula. He looked like a bald bat, rodent-fanged monster, which is what I think the iconic Orlok design will still remain to be. So with that said, while the mustache is historically accurate, you could say, I still think Nosferatu or Count Orlok shouldn't have to appeal to historical accuracy of Vlad the Impaler or Dracula, since he's not supposed to be that technically. Does that make sense? But anyways, what are your thoughts on the Orlok 2024 design choice considering the mustache? Has the mustache changed how you view Count Orlok overall, or did you find yourself yearning for the familiar, stark visages of old? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one.